In the heart of the Italian Renaissance, a single name rose above all others, a name that became synonymous with genius, curiosity, and boundless creativity. From the ethereal smile of the Mona Lisa to the grandeur of the Last Supper, his paintings transcended art and touched the divine. Yet behind his brush was a mind obsessed with understanding the universe, how birds fly, how the human body works, how machines could mimic life itself. He sketched helicopters before flight was even imagined, dissected corpses in secret to map the human anatomy, and filled his notebooks with mirrored writing and cryptic diagrams, protecting the knowledge he feared the world was not yet ready to understand. Leonardo lived in an age of kings and popes, war and wonder. And yet, he belonged to the future. This is the story of a man who sought to see the invisible, to measure the immeasurable, and whose legacy continues to shape the modern world. This is Leonardo da Vinci. In the spring of 1452, in a small Tuscan village called Vinci, a child was born who would change our understanding of what a single human mind could achieve. His name was Leonardo, and he came into this world as the illegitimate son of a respected notary, Ser Piero, and a peasant woman named Caterina. Born outside the constraints of conventional society, Leonardo would spend his life defying expectations and breaking boundaries between disciplines that others saw as separate worlds. Growing up in his father's home, young Leonardo had no formal education in Latin or classical learning, yet he devoured knowledge from every available source. His extraordinary talent for observation emerged early, as he studied the flight of birds, the flow of water, and the subtle expressions on human faces with an intensity that bordered on obsession. At 15, his father apprenticed him to Andrea del Verrocchio, Florence's premier artist and engineer, where Leonardo's genius quickly became apparent. Legend tells us that when the young apprentice painted an angel in Verrocchio's Baptism of Christ, his master was so humbled by the boy's superior skill that he vowed never to paint again. By his early 20s, Leonardo had joined Florence's Painters Guild, but his restless mind was already reaching beyond art into anatomy, engineering, optics, and dozens of other fields. In 1482, seeking greater opportunities, he wrote a remarkable letter to the Duke of Milan, barely mentioning his artistic abilities, but instead promoting himself as a military engineer who could design bridges, chariots, and secret weapons. For the next 17 years, Leonardo would serve the Duke, creating not only magnificent paintings, but designing elaborate court festivals, studying human anatomy, and filling thousands of notebook pages with ideas centuries ahead of their time. Leonardo's mind constantly danced between art and science, seeing no division where others built walls. His notebooks reveal over 7,000 pages of ideas, sketches, and observations, with only half surviving to our time. A devastating loss of knowledge. Through meticulous observation of birds, Leonardo designed the ornithopter, a flying machine with flapping wings that anticipated modern aircraft by 400 years. His aerial screw, a helicopter-like device with a spiraling canvas rotor, demonstrated his understanding of aerodynamics long before the science even had a name. Leonardo's military inventions included an armored vehicle, essentially a Renaissance tank, with 360-degree firing capabilities and protective metal plating. His self-supporting bridge could be rapidly assembled without nails or rope, designed for armies to cross rivers quickly during military campaigns. In anatomy, Leonardo performed secret human dissections, creating astonishingly accurate drawings of muscles, organs, and the human skeleton that surpassed medical knowledge of his day. He discovered the heart's 4 chambers and recognized its function as a pump centuries before William Harvey's official discovery of blood circulation. Leonardo's studies of water flow, turbulence, and erosion established principles of hydraulics that engineers still apply today. His understanding of optics led him to investigate the camera obscura and develop theories about light and shadow that would influence his revolutionary painting techniques. Leonardo's designs for a self-propelled cart are now recognized as the world's first blueprint for an automobile, complete with steering and braking systems. His parachute design, a pyramid-shaped linen structure, was successfully tested in 2000, proving its viability despite being conceived 500 years earlier. Perhaps most remarkable was Leonardo's ability to visualize cross-sections and exploded views of complex mechanisms, inventing a form of technical drawing still used by engineers today. For all we know about Leonardo, profound mysteries continue to surround both the man and his work. The identity of the Mona Lisa remains contested, as does the reason Leonardo kept this painting with him until his death, rather than delivering it to its commissioner. His habit of writing in mirror script, from right to left, has fueled speculation about secret codes, though it may simply have been a practical technique to avoid smudging ink with his left hand. Leonardo's personal life remains largely hidden despite his voluminous notes. Unlike other Renaissance figures, he revealed almost nothing of his inner thoughts or feelings. In 1476, at age 24, Leonardo was arrested on charges of sodomy, a potentially capital offense, though the case was eventually dismissed for lack of witnesses. This experience may explain his later habit of buying caged birds at the market only to set them free, a poignant gesture from a man who knew the value of liberty. The striking androgyny in many of Leonardo's figures has prompted centuries of speculation about his sexuality and personal identity. His vegetarianism, extremely rare in Renaissance Italy, and his compassion for animals suggest a sensitivity at odds with his designs for terrible weapons of war. Leonardo's relationship with his many unfinished works presents another enigma. Was his perfectionism to blame, or did his restless mind simply race ahead to new challenges? The contrast between his peaceful nature and his designs for instruments of death reveals the complex moral landscape navigated by a genius dependent on military patrons. Some scholars believe Leonardo embedded optical illusions and hidden geometries in his paintings, creating layers of meaning accessible only to those who know how to look. In his final years, Leonardo accepted an invitation from the French king Francis I, who provided him with a manor house near the royal chateau at Amboise. There, despite suffering from a paralysis in his right hand, he continued to teach, draw, and explore ideas until his death on May 2, 1519. Legend tells us that King Francis cradled Leonardo's head as he died. Though like many stories about the great master, we cannot know if this is history or myth. This mundane observation from history's greatest genius reminds us that even the most extraordinary minds are housed in ordinary human bodies. 5 centuries after his death, Leonardo's vision continues to inspire us, not just for what he created, but for what he represents, the boundless potential of human curiosity. In a world that increasingly forces specialization, Leonardo da Vinci stands as a testament to the power of seeing connections where others see only divisions. His legacy is not merely in his paintings or inventions, but in his approach to existence itself, a life lived in perpetual wonder at the mysteries of creation. The last sentence uttered by Leonardo da Vinci before he died was, "I have offended God and men because my work has not reached the quality it should have." This sentence, reported by historians and biographers, testifies to his regret and unceasing spirit of improvement. Even in the last moment of his life,